Fish.
Hi.
Right? Becoming even more well known than he was already.
I don't think so, but never mind, go on.
But the lovely thing, as you can see here, this is Graham's studio. To some it might seem just a shed, but what is a studio after all but a space, a sheltered space where an artist works. And as you can see from the various pictures here, he's a very busy man. But Graham, don't mind me asking, would you say you've been artistic all your life?
I would say from the age when you get given a crayon or a coloured pencil of some kind and you start to scribble, I wanted to be an artist. Mm-hmm. Right from the beginning. I can remember lying on the floor. This is before television, so that puts an age on me.
A privileged child.
Yeah, absolutely. Lying on the floor, no TV, drawing in a book. Mm-hmm. And that was me. I was happy. And I then discovered that people actually did that and produced paintings. And I always wanted to be a painter. I mean, I love sculpture and all the other mediums and processes, but a painter, pictures, was what I really, really wanted to be.
It's interesting. What was your first job?
My first job was in the printing trade, and it was the closest I could find that had anything to do with art, because it involved design. And the printed page had some design features about it. Even a book has been looked at and thought about and designed by a typographer. And that's what I did. That was my first, once I'd finished school, I got a job as a printer, did a journeyman's apprenticeship, which was 5 years. And then there I discovered graphic design, which is about making pictures and words work together and tell a story, and not just in the sort of recognised form. And I went to art college and did a typographic graphic course, and allowed my creativity to flow there. But during that course, I saw that you could learn to paint, and I wanted to change. I wanted to change my course. I wanted to go on to the painting, the fine art, and they said no, don't change course midstream, and all that kind of thing. So I carried on. I did as I was told.
Were you, as a child, surrounded by art?
No, definitely
so pictures
not.
on the wall.
Pictures on the wall didn't enter into our home. I discovered pictures in books, paintings in books. I don't know if you remember the Arthur Mee series of encyclopedias. Well, my parents bought a set for me and I pored over them, even in black and white. And now I think how silly to reproduce paintings in black and white, but they gave some idea. And it was the old masters. It was the Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci, Caravaggio, who really excited me. And
I was going to say, was there any particular one of those that you would say, well, I found myself attracted to that, his style?
Caravaggio. He came after Michelangelo. His real name is Michelangelo de Merici, but he lived in a little town called Caravaggio. So it's a bit like me, you'd have to call me Bantham from now on, But he was the one who stood out. He painted the stories of Jesus, biblical events, certainly New Testament events, using real people. And his ability to manipulate light and dark and make them incredibly realistic and dramatic. And he was painting back in the 1500s. And they're just extraordinary pieces of work. And he must have really liked the people who were in the paintings, because he treats them with such respect. And yet he painted very quickly, painted for a short period of time. I think he died when he was 37. And his paintings are considered to be, genius.
Mm. Speaking then of Caravaggio, and the enormous attraction of that new way of painting, what shall we say attracts you? I mean, what is it that stimulates you to paint?
I think for every artist, it's light. What is the light doing on a subject? For me, the subject, first and foremost, is the sea, and it's why I'm here. It's why I've got a studio near the sea, so I can see it every day. And I guess I'm probably most known for painting seascapes. But for me, the sea is a metaphor for God. All around us, looks still and calm, yet can be incredible power can be manifest. And I want to try and draw that power and that ocean that just seems so mysterious, yet is there in front of us and gives us such a variety of good things. It just seems to speak of God all the time, and how he is in relationship with us. So that's my big subject, and I will never stop painting the sea. But then from that, I started to paint and draw the people who are attached to the sea, because people in the paintings here are either surfers or sailors, or people who have been in the water and are connected to the farm, who come and visit me, and if they've got 5 minutes or a little bit longer, they'll sit and I'll paint them.
Just out of that, I mean, when you begin to paint, do you begin with a pencil or a charcoal sketch, or is it straight into the paint?
Most of the time, Caravaggio didn't draw at all. He went straight to painting. He was really quite remarkable, and he's the only artist I know who didn't do preparatory drawings, which is phenomenal. I have to sit, draw it, work it out, change the composition, move things around, and then go to the canvas and transpose what I've drawn on paper onto the canvas, and then work it like that, things like that.
Had you experimented with acrylic at all?
I've used it, I've looked at it, I've considered it, I've set it to one side. I think for me, oil has the richness of tone. The great thing about oil is that you can put colour on colour, and you can allow the base colour to dry and then work on the top. You can work on it wet on wet, you can work on it thick, thin. It's incredibly versatile. Its only drawback is it can dry slowly, but that's all right.
How much of your time in your life does it take up? Would you say it consumes you the whole time?
Yeah, I'm always thinking. Everything I see, I'm looking at and considering. And if you look at the sky and you see the clouds, I think, what colour are the clouds? And most of the time people will say, well, they're white. But if you look long enough, they aren't, or if you look carefully, they aren't. So I'm always doing that. What colour is that? And I like the shape of something, or I'll be stood talking to you and I'll be thinking, oh, how nice the light is, on your face, or something like that. But yes, I eat, sleep, drink, think, dream painting.
Well, let me ask you two questions, which are quite penetrating, and I'm sure you'll bat these quite well. First of all, what is the value of the ordinary person taking up either a pencil or a brush to put something on paper or canvas?
It does two things. It's incredibly therapeutic. It means that I can move away from this crazy world into a small world and concentrate on it, and it's just me and the subject and what I'm doing. The value, and then you discover that you actually are creative, that you can do it. A lot of people say, oh, I can't draw, or I can't paint. Well, actually, I know it's a gift. I definitely believe it's a gift, but you can learn techniques and ways of being able to do something, which is incredibly therapeutic and gratifying. And I think it can help people see things, see the world, how it ought to be seen, and not in the way that we're often being told it is. In other words, it is beautiful, it is wonderful, it is magnificent, which is another reason for painting the sea in all its splendour and magnificence. It reminds them that they need to stop and have a look at something and think about it. We live in such a fast, instant world and have such quick lives that we flick the television on, we flick the radio on, etc. But to go and stand in front of art, you can't just flick it on and off. You've got to ask yourself, what am I doing? What's it saying to me? Is it saying anything? What was he thinking about? Why did he do it? Why is it so big? You know, or so small? Why did he choose that subject? And it just makes you think and ask questions. This is a painting of the surface of water, which I'm particularly interested in, but I call it Crown of Thorns. That's what that motif is about. Not obvious, but once you've said it, I think it's hard to kind of get away from it. That's a desire on my part to actually produce something that's got a message, and as I say, it's not particularly obvious, but it allows me to bring my Christian faith and my lifestyle art together in one painting. Drawing is taken from Michelangelo's Pieta, and it's the head and shoulder of Michelangelo's Jesus. The flesh of the body looks like it's being pinched by the hands, but it's all marble. It's an extraordinary piece of work. I've treated it in such a way to try and make it look like it's marble and to make it look like it's three-dimensional. And I just thought that the head of Jesus was so beautiful, so remarkable, that that's what I wanted to focus on. So for me, that really does crystallise my faith and my art. Jesus at the centre of my Christian faith.